Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. Got to admit, I struggled to get out of bed today, partly because I slept so late and I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking too much, and I was feeling a bit negative and depressed, as I sometimes go through depression and stuff like that. So I didn't get out of bed till like 2 in the morning. I wasn't sure whether to include that in this video, but I thought I would anyway. To be honest, but I'm feeling a lot better now, so feeling a bit more positive now that I've made a video on Facebook and I'm making this video. And I hope people out there, obviously, as I often say, from the dyslexic community and that kind of thing, especially those with dyslexia or interested in dyslexia or families of or supporters of dyslexics and that kind of thing, really like this video. But anyway, it's today I decided, instead of doing dyslexic of the day, as I often do, I would do dyslexics of the day in the plural. And I thought, as it's a Thursday and I'm interested in politics on Thursdays as well as goal setting, because there's a political show called Question Time. I think that's why I chose politics on Thursdays and goal setting and stuff like that. So I'm interested in politics, but I've never really liked politicians that much, if I'm absolutely honest. But I always liked Matt Hancock, even before I knew he was dyslexic. I don't know why. There just seems to be something about him where he seems to be quite balanced, although he's a Conservative or Tory. He seems to be quite balanced and that kind of thing, in my opinion. Some might think he's just a bit like any other politician. He's a bit, as I rather maturely call them, politicians. He's a bit swarmy, or whatever the word is. He's a bit like he knows what to say or whatever. He's a bit crafty, and obviously it shows what dyslexic people can achieve. He's one of many examples of what dyslexic people can achieve, and I'm sure he has specific dyslexic strengths. And to be fair to Matt Hancock, he's done quite a bit to raise awareness about dyslexia and talk about dyslexia, talking about his own struggles with dyslexia and how he overcame them and how he's done well and things like that. And he talked about coming out as dyslexic and how he used to be ashamed to be dyslexic, but now he talks about it. Obviously, with the theme of being Dyslexia Awareness Month, I wanted to talk about, continue on with that discussion. He's been on Made by Dyslexia and things like that, and he's done interviews about talking about being dyslexic and about how he wants to make screening for young dyslexics so that dyslexics can be tested in school so that more people will know if they're dyslexic or not or whatever, and that kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken. He's been on Dyslexia Bites, which is a really cool channel. I really like Martin Bloomfield, who runs Dyslexia Bites. He's a really nice, polite guy, so please check out his channel. Dyslexia Bites, spelled with a BYTES. So I think it's bites as in the technological term, not as in like what you eat. But anyway, I've gone a bit off topic there, but I just mentioned that because, as I think he interviewed, Martin Bloomfield interviewed Matt Hancock, if I'm not mistaken. I think I checked out a bit of that interview, but my attention span's not the best. So I know I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I like to write a lot, but I don't like to read. I do waffle on, as you know, but I don't always have the attention span to listen to others. But anyway, or even remember my own train of thought sometimes. But and some people say I talk too fast, but I think that's because I don't want the videos to be too long and have a lot to say. So please forgive me for that. But yeah, Matt Hancock went into the I'm a Celebrity jungle, and I know he has a lot of critics who can't stand him and blame him for a lot of the failures that went on due to COVID. I think he took a lot of flack for that, which was a bit harsh, perhaps because it was a global thing, and I don't know if he did any worse than any other politician, but he seems to be the one who gets most of the flack for it, him and Boris Johnson, but who was the Prime Minister obviously at the time. But I think because he's the Health Secretary, but I don't know if anyone particularly handled it that well. But so I think it's probably a bit unfair to give him so much flack. But I'd love to know what you think, even if you can't stand Matt Hancock or you love the guy to bits or anywhere in between. Does he and do other politicians with dyslexia inspire you or not? I'd love to know, as ever, from my fellow dyslexics. But yeah, obviously he's done well. He's got to one of the highest offices in the country, in the UK, and he shows what can be done, I think. And I mean, I don't know what his upbringing is, and maybe some people might say he had a privileged upbringing, but I still think he's probably done quite well, I would say. And I think it'd be cool to have a dyslexic education secretary, because I mean, I wouldn't say they'd be perfect. I don't think anyone would be perfect. I don't know if perfection exists. I think you can only get as close to perfect as possible, as good as possible. But I think a dyslexic person or someone with some form of special needs like ADHD might know how to teach or people with dyslexia or ADHD or whatnot, and they might know more about what people with either dyslexia or ADHD or autism or whatever go through. So I'd love to know what you think about that. Do you think there should be special needs or neurodiverse or learning disabled, whichever term you want to use, education secretary? I think that would have been a good position for Matt Hancock because he could have raised more awareness of dyslexia. But when he went into the I'm a Celebrity jungle, a lot of people thought he left his constituents and he was supposed to do a job he was paid to do. So there was a lot of controversy about it, and people said that he talked about raising awareness of dyslexia, but some people might think that was a smokescreen or whatever the word is for, if I'm using the term correctly, for what he really went into the jungle to go for, which was, some might think, money. More skeptical people might think it was about money, and he agreed to give his proceeds to charity, but I think he only gave about 5% of it away to charity, which I think he should have done more, in my opinion. But he was going through, well, probably still is going through an expensive divorce, which probably started in between that time. But so he probably knew he had to have some money to aside, maybe, I don't know. But I suppose some people might be skeptical again and say that he was doing that to get tax write-offs or things like that. I think he should have given all the money that he made from I'm a Celebrity, because politicians, I think, are paid well enough, in my opinion, compared to, say, if you look at most of society, they earn a good salary, even if you say they're well educated. But I'm a bit of an anti-politician, so but one of the few politicians I like is Matt Hancock. But yeah, I think he should have given all the money he made from I'm a Celebrity to either to fight the cost of living crisis, or to the NHS, or to help dyslexics, either in the UK or preferably still for me in developing nations, and raising awareness of dyslexia in developing nations, or even to support dyslexic people to set up their own businesses, for instance, or get training in some other field or whatnot, or something that would definitely help in the longer term. I mean, he could donate it to a school, but there's no guarantee that school will use the money well. If I'm honest, I'm a bit skeptical when it comes to academia. But anyway, I talked a lot about Matt Hancock, but also there's Eric Adams, who's a black dyslexic guy who's the mayor of New York, and he talks about New York being dyslexia friendly. And again, as any politician, he's a controversial character. I think some people blame him for some of the migrational issues and that kind of thing, apparently in New York, but I don't know a huge amount about it or about politics in America. But I think he's doing a good job for Dyslexics, as far as I'm aware, and he was on Made by Dyslexia as well, which is a great organisation in my opinion. Probably my two favourite organisations are Made by Dyslexia and the Dyslexic Advantage, and the Yale Centre for Dyslexia and Creativity is probably up there with them as well. I think they were the first to talk about the positives of dyslexia, but that's a whole, I could go on about that story, but I won't in this video. But yeah, I'm conscious I have taken quite a while to go through this. But yeah, so Matt Hancock, Eric Adams, and there are many other dyslexic politicians. So please check out Google dyslexic politicians, and check out on YouTube as well, perhaps. I think there's a whole list of dyslexic politicians on Google, especially. But as ever, I'd love to know what you think about these people, what you think about Mayor Eric Adams, what you think about Matt Hancock, and I can't remember the other guy's name who I'm trying to think of. Gavin Newsom, I think, is another politician. I can't remember. I think he's from California. He's the mayor of California, or one of the senators of California, or something like that. But yeah, there's quite a few dyslexic leaders who showcase what dyslexic people can do. And another thing I'd love to know, as I think of Thursday for some reason, is goal setting. I'd love to know, as a dyslexic person, what are your goals, aims, dreams, and ambitions? What do you think is holding you back, if anything? And I suppose some might have an attitude that I'm going to make it, whatever people say. And what do you think could help you to achieve your goals? And how can people like myself or others perhaps help you maybe to achieve your goals? What could we do? Maybe me or other people. So as a community, I think it'd be great to see what we can do to help each other to achieve our goals, to make the world a better place for dyslexic people and for people generally, hopefully as well. But yeah, for me personally, I think Matt Hancock should donate all the money he made from I'm a Celebrity to either help the cost of living or the NHS or healthcare around the world, or a combination of those things, and possibly dyslexia awareness, or helping a dyslexic person either in the UK or elsewhere, preferably in parts of Africa or Ireland or Asia, former colonies, with dyslexia to set up their own business and things like that, or at least a business, or to put it into a dyslexic business network or something like that. Me personally, I would love for him to do those sorts of things, but that's my opinion. Anyway, I've gone a bit over the time I wanted to go through, so as ever, please post any questions or anything else you want to put in the comment, and I am out.